Hello, folks. This is going to be a demonstration of some of the basic project management features of Redmine in the context of the PSaaS and Red App project. First things first, you'll take your browser and go to ppm.redapp.org, where if you're not already signed in, you will sign in. I have a password blocker on here, so I just have to get it going. So then you log in. Very quickly, all new news items are here on the home page. The newest bugs / feature requests / issues are here. The newest and latest projects are here. And our good old fashioned list of team members with clickable email links are here. Before we can build any project management containers or structures or projects or anything else, we need a place to work. There's already quite a complex hierarchy of containers and projects already built. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this Redmine demo project right here. And I'm just going to keep this project as it is and create a new sub-project underneath it. So this will highlight the features of things you can create in the project and elements of a project and plugins, etc. I'll try to be very comprehensive with this one example. Before you click new subproject or add a subproject to an existing project, it's good to know that there is an element of inheritance. So certain aspects can either by default be inherited or will be inherited when you choose to inherit them. So some of those things, for example, are members or which issue tracking type technologies you're using or plugins. All right, so to start, I'm going to hit new subproject. When we hit new subproject, first thing it wants the friendly name. So we're going to call this a Redmine demonstration project. Now we can put some details in here. This is a rich text editor. We've sort of hacked this in to allow for a little bit more like Word-like formatting or being able to paste out of an email or something that's formatted. So for example, if I go to a somewhere like Sparks or some other, that's not what I was trying to do. If I just go to, something like Google News, and there's some news there. Hey, why can't I just read news? Why can't I just read news? You just have a news thing here. Oh well. First of all, let's just go news. Google headlines. Here we go. This should work. Okay, so we got some formatted stuff. Like for example, if I want to copy the spotlight block right here, if I copy that and go back over here and paste it in, it will allow me to paste. Well, you'll have to choose if you want to paste with Word-like formatting. I would just do that. And you do that, and it sort of keeps your formatting in order. Otherwise, you can go paste just the text elements of this stuff, and it will strip out formatting. Again, that didn't work as well as it could have. And then you can just straight up paste in there. Either way, it's just an abstract. So this is an abstract for the project and can be rich text formatted. So there I'm making a link. So you can do all of that stuff. Okay, then it creates this is the human-friendly name you gave it, and this is the machine-friendly name created from it. Now, if you have a separate web page, you could plug it in here. So what we'll do is we'll just use the actual Redmine website. Oops. I think it's .org. Sure. So we'll just put redmine.org here. That will be the home page of this project. This is not a public project. We don't use that. It's a sub-project of this. Now, if I want everyone from the other project that it was the parent container to come along, then I will bring those that way. Then it asks you for modules. Issue tracking. Are we going to have bugs? Yes. Are we going to attach files? Yes. Do we need a project calendar? In this case, yes. Do we need charts? No. Do we need time tracking? Yes. Do we need a wiki? No. Gantt charts? No. Customer reports? Yes. Do we want to use the news module? Yes. Are we going to have a connection to and a live repository? No. Are we going to try and do this agile? No. Do we want to provide Redmine Digest? No. Do we have a documents repository? Sure. Do we want to create a forums? Sure. Do we need a banner? Sure. Trackers. We're going to track tasks, features, meetings, support, and bugs. And questions and comments. Now, once you've chose these basic parameters, you can either hit create to move on to another step, or hit create and continue to create this subproject and then create another subproject. So when you're making tickets or time entries or whatever, and you see create versus create and continue, the create and continue means you're going to do more than one, and it will just reload the same form and let you start again. So we're just going to hit create and move on. That produced our new project, so you can now see the project here. You can see it inside the hierarchical select, and you can see all the controls for all the plugins that we added here. As the creator of the project, you are the project manager by default and the administrator of that project, so you can do a multitude of things. You can disable and enable the trackers. You can change all these things that we set a few minutes ago. And you can modify all this new stuff. So let's just quickly step in here and talk about modules. This we went through and checked the ones that we want. This is where you can add other members. So for example, I'm going to take, so who is project lead? I'm a project lead probably just because I built it. Versions. Let's talk about versions. Versions within the context of Redmine are really developmental milestone markers. Redmine is really software development project management centric. So versions is what you can use to literally track versions of your software. So we're going to have a version 1, we're going to have a version 1.1, we're going to have a version 2, and we're going to have a beta 3. You just create all these versions. When you create a version, this version is going to be specifically related to our project, but depending on the settings, you can share it with the project hierarchy or not. In this case, we're not going to share this version because this version is specific to our demo. So we're going to call this version 1 demo video. And I think that makes sense. And the description if you want to. So the first cut of our demo video. The status is open. If it has a wiki, if you have a wiki for your project, you can then direct this version to a specific page. So in some cases, if you have a wiki that talks about version 1 and version 2, you can then point it to that wiki page and automatically create linkages. Dates. So the idea behind the date here is the date you expect to complete and release the version. So let's say we expect this to be done for Friday, tomorrow, a day after tomorrow. Sharing. We're not going to share it, or sometimes it makes sense to say share it with sub-projects only. So sub-projects would mean that this demo project and any sub-projects we create are able to look at, utilize the versions as anchor points. So I'll go ahead and I'll create this one. So this one's going to end on the 25th. So I create that version and we wait. You'll see there it shows up right here. So I'm going to create another one, and this is going to be version 2 demo video. This is the final production version. And the date for that won't be Friday, it'll be the end of the month. And shared with subprojects only. And I'll hit create. So, although we have a pile of versions we can work with right now, there's really only 2 that we're going to be caring about with this project. So, moving on from versions, issue categories. I'm pretty sure by default the issue categories were probably carried over. Forums, activities, and a banner. So I'm going to activate this banner. On the overview only. So this is a banner message to all users for the demo. It's going to be an info. It's going to be live, and as soon as I save it, it'll be active on the overview page. Okay, so now going to the overview page, you'll notice we have a banner message to all users for the demo. And you can turn it off, and if you're me or the person who wrote it, you can edit it. All right, so now we can see we have issue tracking going on. So let's just start with a task. So, okay, so this is our project. Now, quickly, project activity will tell you about things that have happened on this project. Did you create an issue? Did you log some time? Did you send a message? Did you have a meeting, etc.? The roadmap is keyed and connected to the versions. So when you click roadmap, it utilizes the versions and all the tasks related to the versions. So I'm going to very quickly create a few issues. Okay. And then attach them to versions. So the new issue is going to be, I click new issue, and we're going to choose a task. And the task is create the first video, record a video using Open Broadcast System Studio. All right. Now, this task is tied to a version 1. So we'll choose version 1. It's now tied to version 1. We don't set any dates because we're choosing our target version, and we're going to allow our version to dictate dates. I'm going to, however, say that this status is in progress, because we're actually recording the video as we speak. The priority is immediate. We're doing it right now, and Franco is the assignee. So very quickly, if I estimate this is going to take me 2 hours or 1 hour, I'm going to put 1 hour here for an estimate. Okay. Now, if I need a checklist, I will create one. Checklist is really simple. It's do things like record video, connect to Spark's YouTube, upload video to YouTube, test video. Those are my little checklist. I don't have to make individual tasks for all these things. I can just come in here and check them off as I'm done and then close this task when I'm done. Now, if I wanted to add a watcher, I can just click adding a watcher here. If I wanted to add a file, I could do that as well. In the meantime, I'm just going to hit save on this task, and this will, just fix that typo right there, video. I'm going to hit, if we could create 2 tasks. So this is the create the first video, and I'm going to create and continue and create a second task. This one is review the first video on YouTube. Check and be sure it's legible and audible. I spelled it wrong. You get the idea. I don't need a checklist. I could just say it's for Franco. It's target version 1, and I'm not going to do anything else. This will probably take half an hour. I'm guessing half hour. And the status is new, and the priority is immediate. And we don't need any of this other stuff, so I'm just going to create. So we now have 2 issues, both of which are tied. So if we look at the issues, here's the list of issues. They're both tied to our versions. So when we click roadmap, they will show as dependent. So we have to finish these issues before this milestone will be met. Okay, so this is our roadmap. Version list, here's our versions right here. So we can click on this and jump back and forth to our versions. Okay, now we can look at the calendar and get an idea of what's happening when. We created some tasks here and here. We have a deadline here for a version, and we have a deadline for a version here. News. Add news. Title. New Redmine demo video. Summary. This will show when you don't look at the details. When you look at the details, this will show. So, nice small summary. Did you know that news stands for notable events and weather and sports? Okay, we could add a file to that, or we could just create the news, and now the news will show on the overview page. When we go over here and go overview, we'll see there's no news here. There's news here. However, when we go right to homepage, there'll be new news. Clear as mud. In other words, a quick link to your project, although you'll see this nastiness needs to be fixed. I'm going to go ahead and edit this project. Overview, settings. I'm going to clear all this out. Where is the formatting? All right. Now when I save this, go back to the overview, it's a lot nicer and neater. If I hit the home page, we'll see it's also a lot nicer and neater to go right here, demonstration project. All right. So we have built and configured a project. That's going to be the end of this video. We'll come back for another video where we'll show you in detail how to make issues, how to work those issues, how to log time against those issues, and keep a view of your project via the roadmap feature. Okay, thank you. Have a good one.